I've been instructed not to open this until it's time, but I've decided it's time. In this box is the Everlast Cyclone 262. And in my left hand is a beer from Golden Cactus across the street.
We should not be doing this right now.
Definitely shouldn't be doing this right now. Well, there's the plug. What a nice cord.
Ooh.
Look at that, it's very flexible. On top is a box of goodies. Let's see what we got.
Whoa.
Ooh. The Cyclone 262 Owner's Operation Manual. Read the manual carefully before installation, operation, and maintenance. Ooh, the MIG.
Ooh,
it's gold.
Ooh.
That's real nice.
Oh yeah, I can see a clean weld in my mind's eye. You know what I mean?
In my mind's eye, I can picture a clean weld. Well, so that concludes the review of the Everlast Cyclone 262. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. This is an incredible moment. I keep wanting to say, like, we'll talk later.
But then you keep wanting to talk.
Yeah, I know. It's got a screen and stuff. Let's plug it in. Very nice fan. The left knob moves the left number around, and the right knob moves the right number around. Who'd have thunk it? I've got research to do. You can change the inductance. What is inductance? I mean, it seems like it'd be a cool place to like eat lunch. You put your breadcraft lunch right here, and then eat from this nice powder-coated surface.
Is this what Everlast pictured when they sent you this water?
Well, for starters, Everlast didn't send me a sandwich. Thanks for watching. Hello.
This is the workplace abuse I endure on a daily basis.
Well, this camera's going to bed.
Good night, camera. Say good night, Jane.
Good night, you
Good
two.
night, Jane. Okay. I need one more thing. Hi, how are you? My name is Tay, and this is my humble little fab shop. For those of you that have just joined the channel, this shop I'm in was a 100-year-old machine shop that I spent 2 to 3 years of my life cleaning out and turning into what is now quickly becoming my dream shop. Fabrication is my passion. Creating things for other people and for myself is probably one of the most fun things ever. And I have put in a sizable amount of work to make this a living. I've had a lot of support. Big shout out to my dad, Mike, and his company, Black Dog Salvage, for giving me essentially an education on business, learning how to use tools, how to operate equipment, how to talk to people, how to do sales, how to do online commerce, photography, videography. I owe a lot of what I have to the skills that I picked up in my family's business, Black Dog Salvage. Now, I left Black Dog, well, really officially in early 2020, right as the pandemic was kicking off. I had been working on this building at that point for a few years, and I decided to push all my chips to the middle of the table and go all in on starting my own custom fabrication company. And here we are in 2023, 3 years later, and business is better than ever. The shop is cranking out builds left and right thanks to some incredible fellas that I surround myself with, namely, among which is Wyatt Allen, big shout out to that guy. And of course, Steve Heintzel, who's gonna be around more often here soon, and a guy named Jake Freeland, who I've had the pleasure of meeting and collaborating with on a lot of projects. I wanna take this moment to tell you that I am incredibly thankful for the support that you've showed LiftArc here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. I am incredibly humbled by the amount of support I've received from my community and beyond. And I just wanted to say thank you. None of this is lost on me. And when I truly stop and think about how remarkable it is that I've been able to do this, it becomes mildly overwhelming. I will make this shop work or die trying. One neat thing that's happened alongside renovating this business was that we've been able to create a YouTube channel around it. Thanks to my good friends Walker Hooper and Riley Murtaugh, we were able to document the overhaul of this building. And after that, we started showing you guys custom builds, how-tos, tool acquisitions, tips and tricks, whatever the hell we wanted to show you. And we've had an absolute blast doing it. And in 2022, the channel grew at a rate that none of us were prepared for. The last year, I think our channel's gotten like 1.8 million views or something like that. And on average now, I make roughly $1,500 to $2,000 a month from YouTube ad revenue. Frankly, folks, that's incredible because that pays my rent here at the shop. I think what's been so wild over the past 6 months is some of the partnerships that we've been able to establish between LiftArc and namely tool companies. First of which was Shop Saber. The fellas at Shop Saber, fellas and fellettes, I should say, over at Shop Saber have been incredibly receptive to us reaching out and wanting to partner. They've sponsored a number of our videos on the channel. And sponsorships can be anything from an in-kind sponsorship, meaning they give me product in return for good mentions and or pre-roll ads and things like that, like the collision detection kit, and they gave me some software to do some ads in front of some videos. Or, direct monetization compensation, like you pay me money and I say things on YouTube. Now, there's a video that we produced recently that you guys really seem to have liked. And if you didn't like it, I think I already know why. That video, of course, being the $200 welder versus the $2,000 welder. It was kind of fun to see, at least in a very simple, unprofessional, unresearched, and unsterilized bench test between these two welders on DC TIG with as many of the parameters controlled as we could. It was pretty wild to see a $200 welder lay some beads that, in that limited and very simple rudimentary test, seemed to perform in an equal fashion. Now, since posting that video, there have been a lot of comments, some of which said, okay, but let's see that cheap welder weld for an hour, and how does it hold up then? Duty cycle, duty cycle, duty cycle. And then, other things like what you don't get, regulator, what you can't do, AC, DC, using a pedal, LiftArc, upslope and downslope, programs, all that stuff. The reason I compared these two welders is because those are the two TIG welders that I currently had in a functional state. When that video blew up, something happened shortly after that was pretty funny. I got a phone call from a gentleman named Oleg, one of the higher ups of Everlast. And he told me, or rather asked me, why on earth are you comparing that cheap little welder to our multifaceted boutique TIG welding experience over here, the Power TIG 210 EXT? Because it's not an apples to apples, he claimed. You know, it's a cheap little DC only machine versus this fully featured machine that does all kinds of things. And I said, well, I didn't really mean anything by it specifically. 2 TIG welders I had laying around, one of which I was very used to using and one of which was brand new and cost $200. So I told him that, you know, just wanted to see how it did. And he goes, well, that's not even a direct comparison at all. We as in Everlast, offer a $400 DC only TIG welder that's not much more expensive than this VVOR unit, but offers many more features. I don't have that welder in front of me, but he did mention that he would want to send it over, and he may still be sending it over, in which case, when we get it, we will throw the Everlast $400 welder up against this VVOR TIG welder, and maybe do some more structured tests, just for you welding nerds out there. People said, oh, do a bend test after you weld it, or whatever. We'll do that. But the other thing Oleg asked me after we talked about what welder I should be comparing the VVOR to was, well, what else do you have in your shop? It seems as though at this point in the conversation, he realized the impact that this channel has, the visuals of the brands that I use, which is kind of cool. So I said, well, I've been using a 15-year-old Miller-Matic 212 full-size transformer MIG welder forever. It's probably the first welder I ever used, and I've maintained it and repaired it as needed. And it is still the welder that has built this shop. It is the backbone of Lift Arc Studios. Back to Oleg and I's conversation though, he said, well, we just came out with the Cyclone series of MIG welders. And he goes, well, are you interested in reviewing one of those or using one of those in your shop? And I said, well, it needs to at least be as good as my 212, if not be able to weld thicker material, because if it doesn't even keep up with my 15-year-old 212, then I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna use it. It's not gonna serve a purpose in this shop, and it's gonna sit in the corner and collect dust, or go to my house and I'm gonna stack old mail on top of it. That was a bit harsh, but you get what I'm saying. So he said, all right, we're gonna send you the Cyclone 262. And that is what is sitting to my left. A brand new welder from Everlast, the Cyclone 262, that showed up at my shop after having little more than a phone call and emailing someone my address. I think this thing sells for like $1,500 or something like that. You can put it up here on the screen if I'm wrong. I think we can all agree that that is a pretty wild thing to happen. And I think now I'm getting around to the whole reason I'm sitting down and talking to you about this, which is that where I started this shop from and what seems to happen on a semi-regular basis now, i.e. companies reaching out and wanting to send me things to be showcased on this channel, which seems to have a sizable impact. I just want to say thank you, and I could not be in this position without you. I would not at all have the good fortune of having leverage in a conversation with a company about the impact of this channel without the support that I receive from you guys, that we all receive from the viewers here on the channel. It's pretty wild. I've had some pretty emotional conversations with my close friends recently about how blown away I am regarding the position I find myself in. So let's all agree that that's wild and that, you know, it's a cool thing. That being said, I want to talk about it. I want to use it. I have signed nothing. I have agreed to say nothing in particular. I believe they're going to send me some technical talking points, but at the end of the day, if this thing sucks, you're going to hear about it. I have used this Everlast 210 EXT TIG welder for the better part of 2 years, and it has not skipped a beat. So I'm pretty excited about using this thing because now I have a TIG solution that I really like and potentially a MIG solution that I really like. But I realize now that I've been rambling for a long time, so long in fact that I can see the battery meter on the camera has gone down a few notches. So again, thank you, I appreciate you. Once we get an order of t-shirts in, Lift Arc long sleeve t-shirts in all sizes, even 3X this time, those will be up in the store and they will be priced at one price, and I think for a limited time. To show my thanks, I will probably discount them maybe in a way that if you watch these videos, you can see a promo code or something, and I can sell them at a different price. We'll see if my website can even handle that. But I want to find a way to give back to you guys because you have given me so much. So while we work that out, please be patient with me. By the way, click that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to quit rambling now, and I'm going to continue my Saturday of cleaning the shop and reorganizing some things. Thank you for watching. I hope I've made myself clear, and I hope I've expressed my feelings in a way that makes some kind of sense. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an Everlast Cyclone 262 and a cart that was not made for an Everlast Cyclone 262. This is the latest welder to breach the doors here at Lift Arc. And it's Saturday, okay? And I am reorganizing a lot of the shop. I'm putting shelves up where they can. I'm gonna put a shelf over here. These are where I usually store my welders, and I wanna put a shelf above the welders for welder related things. So I need to make some L brackets. I'm gonna use a MIG welder. And it just so happens that I was just sent this MIG welder. So without boring you with too many details, I'm gonna get this thing set up and we are going to put it to work. Because I could use my old miller to do this, but I figured if I need to make something real quick, pretty simple fab project, a few L brackets, let's use this thing. We'll do a brief unboxing experience here. There's the MIG gun for the Cyclone. We got owner's manual. All right. We got a gas regulator with a flow meter. I'm sorry, I know you guys absolutely hate when I shake the camera around, and I understand. So without trying to limp through this one-handed, there it is, just comes out easy that time. Same flow regulator that is on that welder. And yes, I painted my nails a while ago, get over it. Gas line, top handle that goes there. Got the MIG gun, we've got that thing, we've got a ground cable, and we've got an electrode holder and drive wheels for the wire feed system. There you go, unboxing. How about that? You love it? Great. You wanna know why this cart is not meant for this welder? That's why. I literally might just cut the little sheet metal on the door here to get that to open all the way. Oh no, I can push it to one side. We can kind of get in there now. Obviously not ideal, but I think I can do all the setup I need. Of course, it's a MIG, so once this is closed, it won't open for a while. There you go. And I've temporarily put my Everlast TIG, which was on that cart, on this short little cart that I had that guy sitting on. That guy's gonna go to my house now. That's the Weldmark MP200 we reviewed a while ago. DC TIG machine and MIG gun with pulse. Nice little unit. So that thing's on this dinky little cart for now because I wanted to put that somewhere. Let's hook it up and see how it does. Hit myself in the face. It's quite the plug. Look at that situation. I think I may feed the wire first. Hey, we have life. The peel. All right, so for my shop, one of the best wire thickness sizes that I've been running is 030. So this is a medium-sized roll of Weldmark 030 ER70S-6 MIG welding wire. I am not really intending this video to be a perfect instructional video about how to set up a MIG welder, but hopefully you can kind of see what's going on. This is Everlast's feed system. Kind of nice. You got 2 feed rollers, double the contact, double the friction, double the push. They are both driven. One is not just rolling, and you've got 2 top clamp rollers. So that's really nice. I'll turn it on now. This welder does have a wire jog button, which means that button activates these motors. So you can feed a new roll of wire through your cable without striking the arc or wasting gas. I think I know what this is. This is a spacer for these smaller spools. And these spools have a nut and a spring, so you can adjust the drag. You need to make sure that these rollers are set up for 030 1.2. They seem to be in millimeters. We're going to use the 0.8 millimeter because 0.030 wire is technically 0.76 millimeters, so 0.8 should work, I'm guessing. These are all thumb screws. All right, we're through the rollers. Let's see if it grabs. There it is. It's pretty smooth, man. Got the drive roller system figured out. Wire's installed. Now that the wire is sticking out of the machine, trim that back, and I'm gonna start it into here so that, well, it's started. Now I don't have to worry about that wire jamming at all in the liner. It's a decent little attachment system. Just turn this on. This is our torch, and I would like to take the contact tip off. That's the contact tip, apparently, so that's cool. Do our wire jog. There it is. Put that thing back, slip that thing over. That's a really big tip. I wonder if they sent me any others. I don't think they did, but let's see. Okay, so I don't have a different size contact tip. You're definitely supposed to size your contact tip to your wire, but you're not really gonna hurt anything by running this in a contact tip that's too big. It's just sort of loose. So I will keep that in mind when I go to weld. If the puddle seems to wander around, I will, at least for now, blame it on the fact that I'm using the wrong contact tip. There we go. I lied. There are other contact tips. Look at me throwing Everlast under the bus for no good reason. 2 contact tips and a wrench for the contact tips. Let's put that on. Good deal. Got the right tip on there. If you haven't already, you should get yourself one of these organizers from Harbor Freight for $3. Keep all your tips separate. I have already turned this thing on, as you saw. One thing that it does, when you change programs, it tells you how to hook things up. The work goes to the negative, torch is positive. I'm at C25. C25 means that 25% of your gas is carbon dioxide, or CO2, meaning 75% is argon. There's C100, there's aluminum, there's stainless steel, there's flux core with gas, and DC stick. We'll leave it on C25, because that's what I'm doing. That's the gas I'm running anyway. I'll go over this later. Using this little shorty tank, because it's the only other 75-25 argon tank I have, other than the big one on my MIG welder, other MIG welder, so tighten that up. Okay, now there's a gas port back here. Pull the little stopper out. Looks like that goes into the machine. And then I will wrap the extra around my bottle here, like so. Tighten that on the regulator. Okay, these are tapered fittings, so you don't need to reef on them, just get them kind of tight. Now, I'm gonna do a gas purge and set my flow. Usually like to run about 25 CFH. Ready to weld. So by all accounts, this thing is ready to weld. Theoretically. The cords are a little short, I will say. I've been spoiled by the really long MIG gun on my Miller. but that's okay. The thing's very mobile. It's a lot more mobile than my Miller. So how about that? We're good. So in real time here, yes, I want to use this for something, but I've been reorganizing my shop and there's just stuff everywhere. So I think I'm gonna keep cleaning. The brackets I want to build will hold a shelf that goes up here. But it's 6 o'clock on Saturday, and I think I'd rather just clean things up and maybe tackle that tomorrow. But I just wanted to show you guys the setup, at least the best I could with what I got, of the Cyclone 262. Can't wait to use it. Time to organize the shop some more. Think of that.
Wow.
That looks like more your style, kind of longer. All right, let's see. What is this? 14 gauge? Ain't that? Let's see what it does, YouTube.
What do you think?
This thing throws spatter like a mother.
Yeah. 20 volts seems
High.
a lot. That's a lot.
For 1/8 inch and that's it. Definitely not enough wire. Started to sound better there.
I started turning it up.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's helpful.
Tell me when I'm turned it up too much. That sounds pretty good, right?
Oh, that sounds great.
Now we're talking. It almost looks like it's a little hot. It's getting like grayed out. I don't know, maybe not much.
Turn it down a little bit.
Thing's a lot quieter than my 15-year-old Miller, that's for sure.
It's quieter than this one.
Yeah. Well, okay.
What do you think? First impression.
First impressions are pretty good. I slipped my hand on that one, but I mean, it still looks a little hot, like it's kind of grayed out, you know? But I mean, once you get rolling, it feels great.
Yeah.
I like the length of the torch. I didn't think I would, but
Yeah.
it means this hand can be further away from the heat. And sort of, instead of having to be up here, I can just chill back here.
Yeah.
I like
Your
it.
head out.
Yeah. All right, well now I gotta weld 3/8. I don't know, man. That's really good. I like it.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. YouTube also helps motivate to do a better job, because if I do a job, they'll be like, you suck. You hear that, YouTube? I care about you. here's the payoff. 4 hours of work to do that. Woohoo! Made a welder house. Woohoo! Well, there's my shelf. Spent 4 hours making some brackets, but there you go. That's the result. A little flimsy in the middle, but I might put a piece of angle across here, a piece of tube, make it a little stronger. But the idea of this is, look at that, it's almost exactly 6'7". The idea here is welders go under here. I can put hooks anywhere, like maybe on the front edge for masks and jackets and stuff. And then obviously we got a shelf, so I can put all sorts of things up top, whatever we might want to store up top. I know that was a long, complicated way to put a shelf on a wall, but it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, right? Pretty stoked on the Cyclone, honestly. Welds real good. It spatters a lot, but I'm sure that's probably something I need to figure out. If you have tips on how to reduce spatter for a MIG welder, definitely drop them down below. I'd love to hear what you think. In any case, time to put the welders back, and I gotta go do something else. I gotta go work on my car. See ya. Practice time. Make it make sense. Well, I guess this is still relevant. Look at what you've done.
Cables, cool part on the back side.
See if it works in practice.
Aha!
Cool. I haven't figured out this machine exactly yet. So before we wrap this video, I want to get a weld that doesn't have spatter all over the place. And what that really means is I need to learn how to set it up properly. I did read real quick. You know, I've been spoiled by some of that auto stuff on the Miller. I did read that excess spatter could mean that the voltage is not high enough. So I'll try that. Give the power set one more chance to make any sense. That's not good, Everlast. Your power set doesn't make any sense.
I'm not a welder, but that sounds spattery.
Yeah, you know if it sounds good.
It doesn't have that consistent buzz to it.
Right.
It's got a crackle.
Yeah, it's got a pop, snap, crack, and pop. See? That's way better.
Yeah. What did you change to make that happen?
Well, I went to full manual mode and started guessing. I have a loose idea of what I used to weld at when I had a welder with this many settings. I don't know what inductance is. Somebody out there needs to tell me what inductance means. Burn back. Need some burn back. We're gonna get somewhere, folks. Yeah, it's a little cold. Making a little more sense. About 20. Yeah, a little less spatter. Well, sort of. I mean, I'm gonna try to explain what I'm doing without, like, I'm not a welding expert, but you do it something for 15 years, you get pretty good at it. But every machine's different. And so my here's what I'm dealing with. Those are the controls. So, you know, I always looked at the chart down here and set those accordingly and go. So I haven't conditioned my brain to think in terms of volts and inches per minute. And it seems like the presets are not good. The presets are all over the place and don't make any sense. And when I set them up, it doesn't feel right at all. It spatters and pops and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just sort of guessing, because back when I worked at Black Dog, we had Miller 252s that had digital readouts. And I'm trying to remember like my settings from 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to say 1/8 inch was like 17 volts and 260 something. Ooh, 17's way too cold. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's 18 volts. I mean, when it works, it feels great. So, you know, it's looking pretty good. It feels great. I just don't know it yet. That's the thing. And so, what I don't want you to take from this video is that the machine is bad. Because I made that mistake when I bought the 210, the TIG. I set it up like I would set up the Miller, and it didn't do what I was hoping it would do, and I was like, the machine's broken. And rightfully so, the internet called me out and said, you're an idiot, you just have the machine set up wrong. So, anything that's been happening since I've plugged this thing in over the past 2 days that seems bad is 100% user error. And as I involve this thing in more projects in the shop, I'm gonna learn it, I'm gonna fine tune it. The menus are actually very easy to navigate. It's not that I don't know where to find a setting, it's just that I don't know exactly which settings I need to tweak yet or adjust. But they do a great job of, you know, once you're here, the left knob does the left number and the right knob does the right number. And once you understand what those two numbers need to be, go for it. I'm not convinced on the power set though, I gotta say.
Yeah, it seems like...
You know, because the whole point of this power set is that, you know, you're supposed to pick your thickness, you know, in this case is 1/8 inch, and pick your wire, which is 0.030 or 8 millimeters standard. I don't know what I'm changing here. Wire, you know, you can change to 035, 045, but I have 030 wire in there, and yeah, you know, and so it's suggesting 20.5 and 365, but what I've found feels good is 18 and 260, among other things. The voltage and wire speed need to move up and down sort of together in the most cases. So I've just found that this thing seems to default a little hot. All the presets are like way hotter, I think, than they need to be. We'll have to have Jake test out the stick capability and see how it does. I kind of want to do it now. Try some 6011. This is that whole other thing that these machines can do. Electrode holder goes to negative, the work goes to positive. Okay?
No, electrode holder goes positive and your ground plate goes negative. Is that what you said?
No, machine's telling me the opposite.
Really?
Sure is.
That's weird.
I don't know why. Oh, it's just saying 89 volts is just it. Who knows how old these rods are? I haven't stick welded in forever.
It's funny seeing like such a fancy modern machine with like the oldest kind of welding.
Yeah, you've seen stick welding just like looking it up on the internet.
Yeah.
Let's see how much this sucks.
Movies from the 80s.
It's hot!
Whoa.
I'm stick welding.
Hey, daggone done did it.
That is nice.
Heck yeah.
Real smooth. Yeah, I mean, I still hate stick welding, but it's really good.
Should I try it? I'd set higher.
70?
Go to like 80. That ain't good.
He said 80, huh? Still hot?
Yeah.
Did you say that's a weirdness about the machine or the rod or just the kind of day you're having?
I don't know, man. None of these look the way they should. I mean, yours is closer.
I think I should probably read the manual. Oh, so you can
Yeah, dude, turn the hot start up.
how much percent?
Turn it to like 65.
Hot start time in seconds?
I don't know, maybe like
1 second?
maybe less than that.
Half a second?
Half a second.
Okay, try that. Let me go back up to like 60.
Nah, stick there. Let's see if it starts easier. Maybe 60. That's good, man.
Yeah, I don't know or care, really. If you stick weld, maybe it's great. I know there's a guy on Everlast channel that does a lot of stick welding reviews for their stuff.
Ah, that's 3/32 root face right there.
And he's great at it. He makes it look amazing. He makes it look effortless. He says highly holds the machine in really high regard.
I like power set, but not for this particular type of weld. I'm trying to run a test through here on cellulose rods and a root pass here on 3/8 bevel plate.
So I'm sure it's great for that. I haven't stick welded in 10 years, and he's used to Miller stuff. So this isn't exactly a glowing review for Everlast. Yeah, I would say Everlast has a steeper learning curve, I think. I mean, it took me a while to get my TIG dialed in, but now I know that machine like the back of my hand, and I love it. I think the same is going to be true for this. MIG is obviously way easier than stick, you know, and I don't really have a place for this machine's not going to go with me to stick weld. If I'm going to stick weld in the field, I'm going to grab something much smaller like the TIG welder, or even an old 90s Miller backpack welder that I have from my uncle. But so this thing's is here to serve as a MIG welder, and it does that very well. The quality of everything seems to be really good. The price is amazing. I think this one sells for like $1,500 versus most top of the line MIG welders of this capacity sell for $3,000 or $4,000.
Really, it's just about figuring out the kinks.
Yes, and I really don't want to end this video on this sort of tone where I haven't yet figured out all the kinks, but I got a lot of other stuff to do than test welders. So stay tuned. This thing's going to be in a lot of videos coming forward. First impressions are very good, but you know, sometimes you got to be a little smarter than the machine. And I think in this case, I haven't yet learned how to do that. In any case, Everlast certainly provides a lot of horsepower for the price, and their products seem to stand up the test of time. So worth your consideration at least.
Yeah.
Back to work. Thanks for watching.
Can I run a 7018 on here?
You do whatever makes you happy.
It's so weird that it switches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like my Trailblazer runs on positive, negative.
I'm not a stick guy. I have no clue.
It's gotta be the rod, dude.
The rod?
Yeah.
Is that a newer rod?
It's a different kind of rod. The other shit was 6010. This is 7018.
So what's the difference? I mean, everyone swears by 7018. What's the difference between 6010 and 7018?
6010 burns slower. I know that, and it like is better at penetrating through rust.
That's not bad.
It was like the arc was cutting out. And I was the same distance away. I don't know
Well, we're selling this piece of modern art for $500 on the website.
Sure. Join the Patreon. I'll send you this.
Yeah.
You see where it's like ridgy?
Yeah.
It's like when I was going up, the arc was cutting out. Yeah, I don't understand why it would. You know, because you always dig up and then fill back, dig up, fill back, dig up, fill back. And then every time I went up, it was like, then I had to fill back and that it started again. I don't know.
There might be some settings we haven't learned to mess with yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these welders are humbling because you have to really know what all the parameters do and what you want them to be set at. I'd rather, I mean, here's the note to end on, is I'd rather have this level of control than not.
Yeah.
Because I know once I get it fine-tuned, I'll be able to shape every single piece of my arc versus having to rely on most of the welder, the welder that thinks it knows better than I do. And that might be fine, all that auto set stuff that Miller's real proud of. Yeah.
Does anybody have good presets? Anybody?
I mean, it'll get you like kind of ballpark, but it's just not right. You have to turn it off to get it right. Yeah, so
What?
Yeah. They're trying to be like they're trying to advance the technology faster than it's actually ready to. I don't know. What would you say?
I think that's accurate. I mean, it's for beginners. Like if you've never welded before and you see a welder that says like, push that button, and perfect welds come out, then you'd buy it. And I think it's probably more marketing wank than anything.
Probably for big production lines and shit. Like, dude, you could stick somebody with weeks of experience. But I do like your TIG welding way more than this one.
You like the Everlast TIG more than that?
Yeah. It's got way more control.
Well, I mean, again, look at my first ever TIG welder. It has 4 knobs and 2 switches. And now the one I use has a billion settings.
What is cool about my Trailblazer though, is you can set it for the rod.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
like, the auto set on that is different. It works.
We've established that no company really has good preset features, and I would advise you, if you're a newer welder, to not rely on them really, and do the work to try to do the work that I'm about to do, and really learn what each setting does, and get real granular with it, because the more you learn up front, the better you can avoid developing bad habits and crutches moving forward.
Yep.
How about that? Everlast. Quarter of the price, same useless features.
Oleg did tell us to say it like it is.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it'll be good. I just think because it has so much different shit going on
It's
with it.
$1,500. Well, the Miller-Matic 252 is what they're chasing down, and that's a $4,000 machine.
Whew.
This one is closer to that one price rise than that one. I think that was like $750.
Today's one of those days where I'm not really in the mood to keep talking.
Hey, the brutal honesty with the people.
Yeah. Everlast. Buy one. I'm getting back to work.
Yeah.